What's going on, VitalSyntax here, and today we're going to be talking about The Elder Scrolls Online, which is an MMORPG that's being developed by ZENIMAX Studios that's based around the Elder Scrolls series. There's an issue of the magazine Game Informer which is supposedly going to be released later on in June that's already been leaked, and a ton of different details have already been announced for this game. So I thought I would go through those and show you guys what you guys can expect from The Elder Scrolls Online. The game's been in development since 2007, and there's over 250 different people working on this project at ZeniMax Online Studios. The game is set to release in 2013 on the Mac and PC platforms, and you're not going to be able to play this game if you're playing on a console. Now, although this is going to be an MMO style game, ZeniMax has said that they want to keep it in the same style as the previous Elder Scrolls games, so expect it to be a good mix of both to attract both crowds, the MMO players and also Elder Scrolls fans. Like almost every other MMO on the market, you're going to have a hotbar that allows you to access different attacks and different skills while in battle, but it is going to include a couple new things like the stamina bar that is going to be used for sprinting, blocking, interrupting, and breaking different effects of your enemy's attacks. Like we've come to expect with previous Elder Scrolls titles, Elder Scrolls Online is going to include full voice acting throughout the entire game. That means any dialogue you have between your character and an NPC in the world is actually going to be voice acted and give you a much more rich experience. It's rumored that you're only going to be able to play in the third-person perspective, which is a lot different than previous Elder Scrolls games that allow you to both play in first-person and third-person, and I hope that they implement that feature for this title as well. As you can see in these screenshots and concept art photos, the game's graphics are going to be similar to other, quote, Hero Engine MMORPG games. It's going to take place across all of Tamriel and allow you to explore almost everything that you can see. There are going to be some places that are closed off that will be opened up later on in future expansion packs and DLC. Some of the returning cities we can expect to see include Windhelm, Daggerfall, Mournhold, Ebonheart, Eldenroot, Evermore, and Riften, and a ton of other ones. Although the game is going to be taking place 1,000 years in the past, so these cities are going to be very different than what we've seen in previous Elder Scrolls games. There will be 3 factions in the game, including Ebonheart Pact, which is going to be Nords, Dunmer, Argonians, the Alder Dominion, which will include the Altmer, Bosmer, and Khajiit, as well as the Daggerfall Covenant, which is going to include Brentons, Redguard, and Orcs. The Imperials are going to be the enemy of all 3 of these factions, and is going to be led by the Tharn family and the King of Worms, Manny Marco, and their plot is to take over all of Tamriel, and your goal is to stop them. All 3 of these factions will have different leveling content, and since it takes about 120 hours to reach the level cap, that means when you start a new character as a different faction, you'll have a whole new experience with different locations and different leveling content. Some returning features from previous Elder Scrolls games include the crafting and alchemy skills, as well as soul stones, which allow you to regenerate the power of an enchanted item. There are not going to be any werewolves or vampires. We're going to see more Daedric princes, and some of them that are returning. There are going to be mounts like horses and other types of rideable creatures in the game, but there aren't going to be any flying mounts, and there's not going to be any dragons at all in the game. There's not going to be any player housing like we had in Skyrim, and no player romance with NPCs like marriage like we had in Skyrim as well. The Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood are returning, although we don't know in what form yet. Finally, there will be a raid mode and also heroic modes for different dungeons throughout the game that will offer endgame content for players that want to complete the game in its fullest form. That's about all the information that's been released for the Elder Scrolls Online as of now, but if there's new information that's released or leaked, I'll make sure to make another video to update you guys on that content. I'm super excited for this game, and I hope you guys are as well. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give me a like or a favorite, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
The Imperial throne sits empty. The dragonfire's cold, unlit, and from every corner, darkness grows. Now, ancient enemies band together. Unlikely alliances are forged. Old ambitions rekindle. And as enemies rise faster than allies, salvation cannot come from one hero alone, but from